Hello and welcome to another episode of Between the Studs. We've got our friend Gus, who is a regular customer here at Atlanta Brico for the past couple years, right? We see him all the time bringing cool stuff to trade. He was mentioning that he is a giant fan of power miners.
I am. Yep.
Which is a theme that I know nothing about. So, Gus, first of all, thank you for joining us today. But in a few sentences, describe yourself and what Lego means to you.
Big Lego fan right out the gate. Love power miners. Grew up with it. I first met Chris at Alabama Brick Fair when I went in middle school.
There you go.
And so me and my dad, we liked buying from the store, and then we eventually discovered this place. So a couple years ago, he took me, and I've just been coming by myself ever since.
There you go.
And bringing great stuff. I'm always bringing stuff in. I love the trade value that Brico has, but
that's awesome.
I definitely buy a lot of power miners from them. Some of these sets are from y'all too. So
fantastic.
I definitely grew up with some of these too. They came out in 2009. I was like prime age for me with Lego. So
you were the target demographic,
I
right?
was. And so some of these smaller sets I got for Christmas, and they've just been a big joy to me ever since.
One of your favorite themes, I'm guessing, because you have all of them?
Yes. This is the actually only theme that I have every single Lego set for.
That's awesome. Fantastic. There's a couple of themes like that for me too, but Power Miners is one that slipped under my radar. I think I'm just a few years older than you.
Yep.
And I was more a Rock Raiders fan. And so when these came out, I was kind of like, well, they're kind of like Rock Raiders, but they're not quite. So I think I was busy with Castle stuff at the time. Because they had 2007, and after that was the Fantasy era, which is a very good line. So I was distracted with that. I missed out on these awesome sets.
Yeah, I definitely grew up in the Power Miners Atlantis era, so I love Atlantis as well. It's another quality theme for me as well.
Absolutely. I think that, looking back, this is one of the really good couple years as far as original Lego IPs, right?
Yes, absolutely. Again, this, Atlantis, even Exo Force. Excellent lines with pretty good stories. As a young guy, that's exactly what we wanted. So
exactly, fun sets, great play features,
great minifigs.
Kind of makes you wish that Lego would lean back into their original IPs a little more. I know Ninjago's good and Friends is good, but there could be more, right?
More variety.
Exactly. Yeah, let's dive into these sets here. So Power Miners, we said it came out in 2009.
Yes.
It had a couple different waves and split up different waves, because there was the first initial release, which is what's on the table here.
Yep. And
there was more after, and then there was kind of a third
wave
with Water. So what do we have on the table here?
So this is the first wave of complete 6 sets, smallest to largest, Stone Chopper, all the way up to the Crystal Sweeper right here, the biggest set of the wave. So yeah, honestly, we just want to start with the Stone Chopper down there. This was your little $10 set, pretty standard. Love that thing.
Look at that. It's got a movement feature for the blades. That's awesome.
So one of the great thing about Power Miners, too, is the colors they have. So the orange, they segment that all for, the drills, the big, heavy machining equipment, too. So it's very unique and identifiable. Oh, yeah. That's Power
Safety
Miners.
orange, yeah.
Exactly. Or even the play features, the claw digger here with the orange, that's your play feature. Or the drill right here, play feature as well. So
that's cool.
At least on the Lego design side, it was beautiful, excellent color scheme as well with the green and the orange. I think blend very well together as well.
Bright and eye-catching, for sure.
Yes. Another thing that people kind of complain about at times are the stickers. There's plenty of stickers on these, but to me, I think they greatly enhance. It makes it look, really not battle worn, but very used.
Authentic.
This is mining equipment.
Yeah, it's got grunge on it. These are used vehicles.
Yes. And even some of the stickers had a texture on it too, more than just a smooth sticker too. So you as a young kid, you're like, whoa, this is awesome.
Yeah, authentic mining equipment. So.
Exactly. So yeah, and then Granite Grinder also had great little features. You can move it. It juts forward with the rubber band.
That's awesome.
Beautiful.
I think is that a Bionicle piece that's been recolored?
Was. A lot of these, too, are Bionicle pieces as well, too, that have been repurposed as well.
Fantastic.
I think it's also the first time we've seen a lot of them in orange, too, so great for mock building as well.
Exactly. For old school Bionicle fans who want to have those silver blades in orange, they've got them here.
Got them. Yep. Next, you got the Mind Mech. This is the one, this is the poster child for me as a kid. I loved it. This is the one I wanted for Christmas.
There you go.
Between me and my friends, oh, that's the Mind Mech. So I loved that thing as a kid. It's piloted by Doc. Each of the miners actually have names.
Kind of like Rock Raiders.
Yeah, there's a big story to it as well, and I love the Mind Mech. I mean, honestly, a little bit of a successor to Exo Force right there in the mech department.
The moving legged vehicle was often one of the coolest of a line because tank treads are cool, big wheels are very cool, but it just has that 3-dimensional aspect to it where it can move around and get around the caves. So
it's awesome. So yeah, loved that set as a kid. Next, we got the Claw Digger. This is one I never had as a kid, but I've since bought, and it is, again, another quality set. Actually, another big feature of a lot of these sets are the massive engines on the back. All of them have, like, massive engines and turbines. So
air intakes, yeah.
Makes them very unique.
Realistic looking.
It does.
Yeah.
They also came out with these roll cages right here that is used in just about every set, and that was a new piece as well. And honestly, it's a great piece. People use it now for just about anything too. So
yeah, it looks like a standard forklift thing, but they've applied it to so many different vehicle situations. So it's great.
And it's a great piece. Another big point of the big wheels of this wave. Great, just big ugly wheel piece.
Exactly. Well, they're actually extremely affordable now, which is, I think, very useful for mock building because they're very cool, very big textured wheels. And I think they were pretty much first introduced in this line, right?
Yes. Yeah. There's some like bigger spacer elements as well that are new to this as well. Even come in orange and like dark bluish gray too, so a little bit of variety as well.
Yeah, that huge drill in the front of this one. What's this one called?
Yeah, this is the Thunder Driller, actually. A great play feature as well. You moves the drill as you move the Thunder Driller as well.
Giant lights up here.
Yeah, giant lights are also another big feature of the Power Miners as well. They all have lights to some degree. Even the Granite Grinder over there has bright light. So perfectly suited for what they're doing. Very well designed too.
Yes.
This one is also one that I had as a kid. Beautiful. Yeah. I mean, you can't get any better than having that play feature with
Exactly. I know that at Atlanta Brick Co., we get a lot of these traded in, which suggests to me that a lot of people bought this set. Yes. Like, it was very popular, and it actually was remained intact in collections. So I'm guessing that was a very popular set and a very cherished set when it was purchased.
Absolutely. A lot of these were actually incredibly affordable as well, not extremely expensive, really good price to piece ratio as well. So
nice.
Especially being one of Lego's own themes is cheaper as well too. So
yeah, no licensing,
nothing. So you get a good quality product at a pretty cheap price. I mean, parents are going to buy that for their kid. My parents certainly did. So
so this would have been cheaper than the Star Wars equivalent at the time.
Yes, all of these
more bang for your buck.
Yeah. Yep, I think the Stone Chopper was about $5. These were about 15. This is like a 25. I think this was the 35, 40, and this was your, I think it was 65.
Yeah.
But for $65 on the Crystal Sweeper, excellent value for what you're getting as well. So talk a little bit about it as well. This one actually had treads versus your big wheels, so a little bit of variety on here. You still got the big orange sweeper and
that is high velocity. Yeah,
it is insane.
They've geared that up, and it's great. So.
Yes. So the whole point of the Crystal Sweeper too was to actually sweep up the rock monsters, like the bad guys of this theme too. So I mean, you literally just pick them up, and it actually
engulfs them. Yeah.
Yeah, dump them in the back. Where you can pick them up too. So
that is amazing.
This play feature to me was one of the best.
Yeah. That is great. I love how most of these vehicles have some either like even the little mech has a spinning motion or these big claws on the front here. So that's just, you could have fun with these with a pile of gray bricks and a few rock monsters hiding in there and just tear yourself up.
And your imagination goes wild with it too.
That's fabulous.
Everything has got a play feature on it too. I mean, this was geared exactly for young kids, and it did its job fantastically in my opinion.
And there's even things to like as a AFOL or an adult, because you got the great color scheme, you got the cool rock monsters, a lot of unique parts, colors, and just some great stuff to it. So.
And even the minifigures too as well. A lot of the prints are new as well. They can be repurposed for even like new updated Rock Raiders, new updated Power Miners, whatever it may be. Great use out of the Tauruses as well.
And I think I did a little research on Wikipedia before going into this because I knew nothing about them, and I think that they actually introduced the dynamite mold in this line as well.
They did. So beforehand it was just 1x2 printed dynamite tile. So now you have actually a mold for the dynamite piece as well.
Yeah. Much more realistic, three-dimensional, and you can imagine them just throwing that at the rock monsters and blowing them up. So.
Yes, and I'm pretty sure you can even put the dynamite inside as well.
Yep.
And close it up. So great play feature on that as well. I don't know if that was intended, but it worked out really well for them.
I'm pretty sure I remember some old promotional videos where they were being thrown dynamite and they were just biting onto it.
And boom, I loved it. And even that dynamite piece is still used in a lot of things today.
Yep, a lot of Lego City. I think other themes like Agents and things.
Lone Ranger used it. Yep.
Lone Ranger, yeah. Fantastic. Yeah, so this is the first wave, and like you said, you got a couple of these. And when you were buying these sets as a kid, you got most of these, but not all of them. Was that kind of the same story for the rest of the waves?
My parents only ever bought me the first wave.
Okay.
Granite Grinder, the Mind Mac right here, the Thunder Driller, and that was about it. I had to collect the other ones.
There you go. You had to, through trial and error, find the rest of them. And how recently did you get your complete collection?
About a year ago. Some of the second wave are actually kind of hard to find nowadays, but for the most part, the first wave is actually incredibly easy to find nowadays on the second market.
Yeah.
Second wave has bigger sets, a little
more
bit harder
expensive,
to find.
Yeah.
I love these things.
That's awesome. One thing I gotta talk about before we move on to the next wave is you kept referring to this as the Granite Grinder, and it's always just tripping me off because the Rock Raiders have a Granite Grinder too. That's that's actually the walking drilling machine. And so this, when you say the Granite Grinder, I'm like, wait, the Granite Grinder?
Yeah.
I'm getting confused, but no, that makes sense. It's a great name for any kind of mining vehicle, so it makes perfect sense.
And a lot of the names too were great. They were a big appeal to me. You see that on the set, you're like, whoa, the Claw Digger? Mm-hmm. It's a pretty good name, and especially with the alliteration on the Granite Grinder, there's a big appeal as well.
And I love that motion feature too. You're just rolling these little tank treads, and it gives a little jab.
And it kind of vibrates too, so I think that's one of the best sets of this wave, actually.
Yeah, especially for a small, affordable set like that.
Yes. And each set came with a rock monster as well, so you had like the big vehicle, and you had the rock monster to kind of battle against as well.
Yeah, causing trouble for the miners. So.
Exactly, and that was kind of want to talk about the story as well. That the whole story actually is, the Earth is experiencing these great big earthquakes, and so they send the power miners to actually go figure out what the problem is, and it's actually these rock monsters awakening and eating these crystals. So that's a lot of what the first and second wave is dedicated to, is stopping these rock monsters. So you have them either picking up the crystals, picking up the rock monster with the claws, picking up the crystal sweeper. And that's really the whole story of the power miners, just stopping the rock monsters.
Very simple premise,
Yep. And there were a few comics and things here or there in like the Lego Club magazines, but for the most part, it was left up to the kids' imagination to build the story.
Yeah, some of the older Lego themes really relied on that. They kind of had, like Old Castle, for example.
Yep.
There's no real good or bad guys, just there's the knights, they have a castle. You could imagine the stories to go with it. This they give you a basic premise, but they kind of let you explore more deeper meaning for anything that could be happening in your scene. So it's like, are the rock monsters good, or are they truly bad? You get to kind of make that up for yourself.
Decide.
Yeah,
yep.
That's great.
And again, as a young kid, that's great. Imagination go wild, creating epic stories and tales and adventures too.
Fabulous. Well, so that was the complete first wave, and we'll move on to the second wave, which I think is probably, was it the same year as the first wave that it came out?
So this came out, I believe, in January of 2009, and the second wave was the mid-year, the July wave too. So you got all the first and two waves in 2009.
Fantastic. Well, let's move these off the table, and we'll have the next ones up here in just a second. Fantastic. All right, so we now have the entire second wave, or second half of the first wave, some people count it, on the table here. And clearly, Lego decided to put a lot more effort into the second wave than the first. I mean, not to say the first wave was bad, but this is very large, extensive vehicles here.
Yeah, the size of each individual set is much larger than the first wave. I think even the cheapest one was like $40 maybe, something like that. And for 2009, that was a good chunk of change. So
exactly. This is just really cool to see. So I actually haven't even seen several of these vehicles built in person before.
Yeah, some of these, like the Titanium Command Rig and the Underground Mining Station, actually relatively hard to find nowadays. I'm not even sure why.
Yeah, just probably they're a big set, a lot of very specialty pieces. Not everyone back then, I think 2008, 2009 was kind of a recession period.
Right.
So bigger sets might have been harder to purchase for kids at that time. So bigger expensive sets can be rarer for that reason, just because not everyone got them. They got the $40 ones instead of the $100+ ones.
Actually, the Underground Mining Station, that was the last one I actually bought. It only cost about $100, but finding somebody that had it complete is hard, because it'll be, it's halfway complete, or it's missing the big wheel, something like that. So finding a complete one can be a challenge, actually.
Exactly. And you mentioned the big wheel. I was super excited to see that, because the only thing that I had seen this on before was the big Exoforce Immovable Devastator.
Yeah.
And so to see that here is really exciting. And it's the perfect use. It's lime green.
It's beautiful. Great piece. There's only one in the set, but hey, it's beautiful. It stands out. I think it's a massive feature of the set, too. It's just a big wheel.
It's very dynamic. And it's perfectly functional, too. You can just use this to bring the little container up, and then it dumps.
It does.
Perfectly into. It's like all the mechanisms working flawlessly here. This is very cool to see, guys. I am so excited you brought this into the studio today.
This wave, just like the first wave, excellent on the play features as well. Honestly, even more than the first wave too. They really knocked it out of the park.
Yeah, a lot of set themes today don't really lean too heavily into play features. The first wave I was very impressed by all the motion and the playability, and this is just like upping the ante by 10. It's crazy.
So this wave actually like numbers the set 7, 8, 9, 10, and 11. So there's 11 in the first two waves. So honestly, we just want to kind of start and work our way up.
Sure,
kind of talk about each set.
Absolutely.
So the Boulder Blaster here was actually Toys R Us exclusive.
Wow.
So kind of had to be in the right place at the right time to find
it.
Still, even it's actually an incredibly easy set to find, but it really utilized the dynamite piece in this one as a kind of like a flip fire motion, and it launched them. Maybe not super well, but
hey, that works better than most flick fires.
This is true. Still, it had the big orange pieces, the massive engine, so it still had a lot of this is a power miner set feel to it as well.
Exactly.
Roll cage again.
Smokestack right there.
Exactly. Big treads, just like the Crystal Sweeper 2. Honestly, a high quality set as well.
Absolutely.
Yep. And then over here we got 8, the Rock Wrecker. To me, this is kind of the weakest one in the wave, just because it looks great from the front, but once you kind of turn it to the side and the back, you're like,
a little lacking, maybe.
It does. But the play feature on it is beautiful. All these big orange saws are just chopping through rock. I think the imaginativeness on this set is probably by far one of the best.
Yeah, it's just going face first into the tunnels and tearing it up, so it's great.
And it also had a net launcher as well, so you can catch the rock monsters this time, so blowing them up.
Not just destroying them, maybe capture them for study. I see we have a little cage up here, too, we'll get to.
So still, a great set as well, especially being a young kid. You go crazy with the set as well.
Yeah.
So actually number, let's see, what is that, 9?
This is 9 right here.
The Cave Crusher as well. Another excellent name as well. Again, big, massive wheels that, man, just makes it look massive. This is a mining vehicle.
Exactly. Low slung.
Is beautiful. It actually had a little catapult, too. It launched a little saw blade.
Nice.
Loved it. On the front, you have the saw blades again. And they can actually, it moves while you push it as well. So it's kind of like, it's got the kind of twisty motion to it as well. Yeah, so again, the imaginativeness on this one is outstanding as well. You got kind of like the little engine bay back here as well.
You have some fuel or something here, exposed warning labels.
Yes, beautiful. You also have like tools attached as well. A lot of the sets have tools, pickaxe, shovels, dynamite, you name it.
Utensils for the miners if they go on foot. So.
Exactly. Yeah. So again, another quality set as well.
Little access roof here. There you go.
For the command panel. And really the poster child of the second wave was the titanium command rig right here. First off, physically massive. Just takes up a lot of space. Massive engines this time. Exhaust, another net launcher, dynamite. This one actually has a massive crane. And actually rock monster in a cage too, so very enticing. But the massive play feature on this was it actually transformed.
Oh, wow.
So you can drill straight ahead, but you can also drill down as well with this. And again, the feature works on both ways. So
that is cool.
This one was awesome. I never had this one as a kid, so building it now, it's like, I was missing out.
I know. Exactly, your childhood. You missed out on this huge set.
Exactly.
That is so cool.
It is another excellent. I used a lot of these big support pieces as well, along with the big wheels too.
In lime green with the supports too.
Yes. So I'm not sure these lime green pieces actually appeared in any other sets other than Power Miners. So
they might not have. They're at least very uncommon. So.
This is true. Yeah. And again, just like the Thunder Driller, massive drill, beautiful.
Yeah.
So
that is awesome.
Massive. Beautiful.
I love how they've got one of the rock monsters captured up there too. They're really trying to stop these rock monsters from creating these earthquakes.
I think a part of this story on this wave too was let's capture and study them more too. Yeah. So which is kind of why you have the net launchers and then actually capture them too. So yeah, excellent set now.
Less battle, more figuring out where the problem lies.
Exactly.
So that's good. Good for the miners.
Yes. And then last certainly not least, we have the underground mining station. Also, kind of a larger poster child for this wave as well. Kind of like their command base, actually. It's not a vehicle. It's actually kind of like a place. So it's a little bit different on that regard, but still an excellent set as well. You still got the big lights on just about everything. You got a big spotlight.
That's cool.
Yep, you got the flick fire missile dynamite. And honestly, the coolest part of this is, again, the massive wheel with the little, you can dump all the crystals in there and dump it out. It also came with this little vehicle as well. Kind of like a little drone. Yeah, beautiful. Again, orange and lime bucket. Excellent little play piece as well.
What I like here, Gus, is that on the terrain, you've got the dark gray, but you also have the neon green slopes just kind of sprinkled throughout, and it really makes it feel more authentic. It feels like you're there, and there's crystals all around, and they're mining them up, and so that's really cool. Because other like Rock Raiders, for example, it had a raised base plate, but nothing else as far as terrain. So having a little bit of terrain just adds a little bit of life to it.
And it kind of looks like you have like gas pipes here or something, so maybe electrical wire or something, but still it adds to the detail of what this set is too.
For sure.
Another cool part used is actually this barbed wire piece that I think was first seen in Agents around this time as well.
Yeah.
So definitely great parts usage in this set as well.
Yeah, trying to keep those rock monsters from scaling the supports and getting into their equipment up here. So
beautiful.
Awesome.
And then also lastly we have actually the Crystal King. So this was actually the only set kind of dedicated around the rock monster kind of faction. The Crystal King is an excellent set though. They actually had a custom molded head and then custom like decorative pieces as well.
Armor pieces.
Yep. But I mean, it's just beautiful that lime green
and the spikes, the rubberized spikes all over.
Yes. I mean that is taking the imagination of a playset to the next level. It came with 2 little power miners with a little drill, but your centerpiece for that set was the Crystal King.
He was by far the majority of that set. So.
Yes.
And we actually, Justin, who used to do the YouTube here, he was really enamored with this set, and he ended up making his own version of it, like a custom Crystal King mock to go with it. So we have a video of that on our channel back there. I might even put a little link to click up there if you want to go see it. But this is just one of my favorite sets just because of that really cool custom headpiece. You only see that in like Ninjago dragons and other things today, or maybe like the elf sets also had dragon and other large animal heads.
Pieces,
So that's pretty special to see. So.
Yep. And even now, I mean, the custom power miners community that makes custom mocks is actually thriving pretty well. I'm always seeing like, oh, this is an upgraded, underground mining station, crystal sweeper, you name it, and they're really high quality builds that people still really enjoy this theme today.
That's awesome. I'm more in tune with the Rock Raiders community, so still a few mocks in there appear every now and then, but so I haven't kept up with the power miners mocks as much, except for that I know that my friend Isaac, who is now a Lego designer, remade this set back in the day, and he did a fabulous job. So you can go find remakes of all these different sets, and they look great. So.
Oh yeah, beautiful sets.
Yeah, but one thing we definitely have to talk about too. We talked about the Crystal King and how awesome he is. Yep. But we also have these medium-sized. They're really large to me, but these medium-sized rock monsters here.
So it's kind of up the ante of the next wave. They had these massive, kind of really very reminiscent of the OG Rock Raiders rock monster. It has a throwing motion, so you could either throw the rock monster or just a little brick that it include as well. But really excellent design. Just a hunk of plastic, but it's got mean eyes, glowing rocks on it as well.
Yeah, well, it's got several colors as well. You got the trans neon feet, and then it's got the gray back. So it's got like a transition of color there. It's really cool.
And on the red one too. To me, the red one is the most menacing. That red with that dark bluish gray. It's kind of scary, but I love it. And honestly, throwing the rock monsters, it kind of fits perfectly in his hand. You can launch them. It's an awesome play feature.
That's awesome. Yeah, it's kind of funny to think of tossing your comrade over to attack an enemy, but it
works really well. So
they're a little barbaric, right? So they're not really high technology monsters. So they're just using what they have to stop their enemies. Yeah, so.
Beautiful.
That is great. And so I also like that this moving motion of the arm reminds me a little bit of either Bionicle or Knight's Kingdom 2, which we'll actually maybe talk about in a video later. But so that was really cool to see that throwing motion. It just works, So.
Yes. Beautiful motion.
Awesome. But yeah, so this was, I think probably, do you think this is the peak of Power Miners, was this wave, or was it maybe later in the season or earlier?
Honestly, I think it's still the first wave.
The first wave still speaks to you the most?
Right out of the gate, they come out with the strongest wave right out the gate.
Yeah.
I still love these sets. They're great. I think they really continued the legacy of Power Miners. But I think that first wave was just so iconic.
And affordable.
Did so well. It is.
Yeah.
And even now, a lot of those first wave sets are still easy to find and get. So
That's cool.
that to me is near and dear to my heart, is that first wave.
I understand. Yeah, that makes sense. As a critiquer of sets, I think some of these, like this big playing motion, really stand out to me a lot. But I can understand the appeal of the first wave too.
Right,
so.
and they did use a lot of big pieces as well in these second wave sets too. So a little bit more expensive, but still being their own theme, it was still pretty affordably priced.
Yeah, for its time, for sure. So.
Yes.
Yeah, maybe nowadays they might be a little bit more on the expensive side because they're just difficult to source all the pieces for. So, very cool. Well, I think that covers the second wave. We can move on to the third wave, which is probably the biggest shift for power miners.
Right, third and final wave.
There we go. Okay, so here on the third and final wave of power miners, it makes me a little sad to think that this is the final hurrah for a great theme, but let's dive in here. So we have, first of all, a big shift, like we said, from the first two waves, in that you have basically no orange on the vehicles, and more blue and water, focus on these vehicles.
Right, and so to really understand what's going on, you kind of got to follow the story just a little bit. So at the end of the second wave, they've kind of captured all these rock monsters, and they go deeper into the earth, kind of to the lava core. And that's where you get these lava monsters instead of just rock monsters. So now, kind of the theme is, hose them down with water and capture them. Kind of neutralize them.
Put their fire out, yeah.
Exactly. So that's kind of what all the blue is instead of the orange, is kind of geared towards water, kind of that theme. And really just about all of them, another big part of them is these blue water tanks that each of them have.
Yeah.
So it's a big feature of them as well. But each of them still have, massive wheels and parts. But
in lime green.
In lime green. So it's still very identifiably power miners, just a little twist in this wave.
Gotcha.
So I just want to start with the little fire blaster. So just your little $10 set, not much to it. Still uses the excellent little roll cage, dynamite. Overall, a little excellent set.
Yep.
No big complaints to it.
One first thing I noticed is that you have these very metallic silver outfits for the power miners. So
that too is another feature as well. First and second wave, they're just wearing their normal get-up, but now they're going deeper into the earth. They got to have this protective armor. And actually the armor is actually a really cool piece. We'll pull them out.
Example.
Yeah, and so it's kind of like an armor piece. Not really seen elsewhere. This is just made for power miners. But an excellent piece too. I definitely see them in mocks every now and then. They have a stud on the back as well. So lots of utility for it as well.
Yeah. Very cool to see the figures really enhanced in the last wave.
And then upgrade for the helmet as well, also in that silver, and then new visor in the color as well. So everything kind of matches. Some people kind of don't like that because it all kind of blends together versus the unique blue and white on the original power miners. But I still like this wave very much. But
I like to see metallic silver anywhere, so I'm just glad to see it.
It's a beautiful color in LEGO as well. So next we have the Magma Mech. Again, an excellent name. I don't know who's coming up with these names, but
they had a good department for names.
Excellent job. Yeah. So this one is this is actually the one I had as a kid. So this is the only other power miner set I had as a kid outside of the first wave.
Gotcha.
But this one again has excellent feature. You can kind of grab the monster with these. Actually, I think they came out with the Tahu Mystica. Yes. So again, excellent parts usage here. You get a spinning drill with this one.
Yep.
Kind of
water cannon.
Yep. It actually came in blue as well. I think it's the first time it came in blue as well. So they're still coming out with excellent colored parts as well.
I know that piece is very popular in microscale castles because it looks like a castle tower top.
Beautiful. A little bit more of the chrome or the silver as well.
Yeah, metallic silver right there. Yeah.
Excellent set as well. No complaints. Again, it is a mech, so definitely appealed to me as a kid. I was like, I love that set.
Yeah. This one's a little bigger than the previous mechs that we've seen in Power Miners 2. It's one of the bigger size. So.
Yeah, it's beautiful. Sadly, it doesn't have knees, so LEGO was kind of leaning towards the mechs not having knees kind of in that era as well.
Yeah, they just want to make sure it's stable enough that the kid can kind of play around with it and not worry about the knees bending too much.
This thing is very stable. I mean, it's hard to knock this thing down. Big feet on it as well. Solid set. The one I hold very near and dear to my heart.
Exactly.
Too, so.
Having that as a kid, it means more to you than just seeing it as an adult and appreciating the theme.
So aside from just the nostalgia as well, like I think there's excellent set designs as well. So I like them because I grew up with them too, but some of the play features and the colors today, I mean, it still appeals to me. So
exactly. Yeah, it's great to see these in person too, because I think we've had that one in the box a few times at the store, but I've never seen it built. So it's always cool to see them in person here on the table.
And seeing the Power Miner stuff built, especially the larger sets, you're like, well, this is huge. This is awesome. It kind of just gets me excited talking about it.
Exactly. But speaking of big sets, we got this one right here.
Yeah, so the Claw Catcher. To me, this is one of the best in the wave, just on the playability and the looks of it as well. Again, massive wheels, big blue claws. It'll actually pick up a rock monster. Let's see if I can actually do it. It takes a little bit of a
finesse here. There you go.
Oh, yeah. He picks him up and it launches him back. And the play feature works extremely well. Like,
it does.
Highly repeatable. Boom, dumps him.
It's like it is like a crab-like motion. He's like those big claws. That's awesome.
And the first time I built this, I was like, this function works really well. Wait, all the power miner, all the functions work really well. But kind of dunk him in the tank. And there you go, he's neutralized.
He's put out,
and they actually use these, I believe they're the Paraka armor pieces as claws, and it perfectly encapsulates that rock monster.
Yes, it's cool to see the continued use of Bionicle pieces in an effective way. So.
Yes. A little bit more Bionicle pieces as well, big engines, still just exactly what you expect out of power miners now. Big
black knobby tires. I do like these lime angled slopes at the front too. Yes. That's got to be the first use of that color and that piece size.
So. Again, stickers as well. I still love all the stickers. You actually have some on the back that kind of say like danger or like the warning stripe. So
exactly, warning hot water. Yeah.
So excellent piece and sticker usage in my opinion.
Very cool.
Sweet.
Yeah.
And then the last actually big set in this wave was Lavatraz. This is kind of like their kind of flagship model for the wave as well. Beautiful, really your flagship rock monster is Eruptor. What an excellent name too. He's actually fairly expensive too.
He's gone up a little bit. I mean, all the rock monsters have slowly increased in value over the years, but he's probably north of $50, $60 now.
And it's really hard to find a lot of the rock monsters in good condition, just because all of them are played with. If I buy a Power Miner set as a kid, open it and play with it, it's got some use to it.
Yeah, the little rock monsters are actually going to go flying because of the motion and stuff, and the
you find them scuffed or whatever, but hey, it adds to the playability of it, and I love that part. So yeah, Eruptor still again has your throwing motion. So, but now in this beautiful trans orange too. So
yeah, and he also has several unique flame pieces on his back, which are usually thrown away by people who don't know Lego or didn't recognize that piece in that set.
Exactly. It does kind of look like Mega Block style, so it's very understandable.
So remove it and show it to the camera real quick. It's got these two little pins.
There's no studs on it.
It does say Lego on it, but if you're not really paying attention, that doesn't necessarily strike you as a Lego piece.
Exactly.
So, very cool to see it though, and a very awesome lava monster as well.
Yes. So, other excellent features. It came with a little kind of fire blaster-esque, little scooper, again, big water tank. Again, little dynamite as well.
It's interesting to see the dynamite still continue to remain in some of the sets as a little last resort. If the water isn't working, they can always try and blow them up.
Hey, it works really well too for the way it kind of keeps with the aesthetic. Then you have the actual Lavatraz as well. You got a little water turret that you can launch water balls at.
Exactly.
So beautiful. You actually have with this little feature is a little vending machine. And it actually kick you out a little soda, and then you can just reload it.
That is great.
Kick it out again. Very interesting, but I think they put it in because it was like cool drinks, kind of that theme of keeping the power miners cool.
Yeah, I love how the power miners have a vending machine at their base where they can get a cool drink because it's probably hot down there with all the lava. So that is funny.
And then the other really cool play feature is actually the claw of this. So it's like they've captured Eruptor and kind of use the claw to pick them up or other rock monsters. Great play feature too, and it actually like pops open too. So there's another play feature here. It pops the rock piece off as well. So a huge playability on this set as well for.
Exactly. You got these nice little opening panel areas that are great.
Pops it off. So it's kind of like Eruptor's like, boom, I'm escaping. Now the power lines have to capture him again. So excellent playability on this set
too. So he could either be literally busting out, or maybe his lava monster buddies down here can help him escape by pressing on the weak points of the structure here. So that's great. Yeah. The third wave I think is definitely cool, and I love the metallic pieces incorporated within. I am missing a little bit of that orange, but I think it makes sense given the surroundings and the environment they're in.
Definitely story driven on the shift to the blue, but overall I think it's a solid wave. I kind of wish they did more with this wave. Even a fourth wave would have been great, but I think this wave didn't sell as well. It's kind of why they shut the wave down, sadly.
After a few waves, some LEGO IPs tend to lose steam, and then LEGO decides to pivot to something else.
Right.
So.
The 2.5 waves is very common for LEGO IPs. This, Atlantis, Exoforce, all those had 2.5 waves.
Exactly.
So.
Yep, but it's probably worth mentioning. We have some of the boxes here too, and here's the box for the
Magma Mac.
Magma Mac, yes.
Yep. So this, very heavily used with the black and green stripe.
The very texture. You got the metal plates with the grip pattern embossed in it. So, and you got the lava monster and the power miner showing up in the front. So this is really cool. Yep. And I think this is a little bit of a contrast to the first boxes.
Yep.
So I can reach. There we go. So here's the first box. We didn't really talk about in the first wave, but that's so you got a more glowing sign, and really I can see why these would be appealing to kids on store shelves because they're very bright colored.
It kind of screams at you.
Yeah.
You also see the numbers as well, though. The 4 for the Claw Digger, the 14 for the Magma Mac too. So
very cool.
You also have the little rock monsters on the top.
Exactly. There's that's Sulfurix.
Yep, and this is Fire Rocks. So each of them had a name too. I don't think I ever really bothered to remember them too. I'm just like, it's a rock monster.
He's the yellow rock monster, or the orange one. Yeah.
So
very cool. And speaking of the rock monsters, that's one thing I want to touch on is that Rock Raiders kind of maybe pioneered the idea a little bit, but only in the game do we ever see things like ice monsters or lava monsters. Power Miners made it to the point where it's able to show off these lava and fire rock monsters.
Right.
So I'm really excited that we got to see them embodied in these sets, even if it was for a quick
wave,
a short period of time. But we got them, and you can acquire them if you save your pennies a little bit. So.
Yes, I do like the evolution. It's not just rock monsters all the way through as the villains. You have some kind of upgrades in the larger rock monsters, and even the Crystal King too. So while it's not much, there is variety within the bad guys of this theme.
Exactly. Well, I mean, first of all, there's different colors. Secondly, there's different sizes, and there's a big, king at the end, and there's a Reptor. So, despite only having, that 2.5 or 3 waves, it really did do a great job of introducing some great characters to the LEGO universe. So.
Right. And looking at the box, it has a little promo for the Clutch Powers movie, which that reminded me, the actual Crystal King made an appearance. It was like the first opening of the scene of the movie. Clutch Powers, stole some crystals, and the rock monster Crystal King kind of got at him.
Going after him.
It was kind of promote their own LEGO sets within their own movie too. So
that is great.
I think that's only digitally produced media that it had some stuff in the LEGO comics
and some teaser videos. I saw commercials where you see the rock monsters.
Yep, but actually appeared in the movie. So kind of a shout out to Power Miners.
Absolutely, yeah. I know that Rock Raiders had a whole PC game, and I know that Power Miners had some on Lego.com games.
Flash games.
Yeah. Yep. So those were available for a short period of time. I don't think you can necessarily easily play them now.
No.
But so it's interesting that they got a little bit of time in the sun for their media around them. So
for the 2 years they are out, they got actually a decent amount of exposure. So.
Exactly. Yep. Well, very cool. Well, thank you so much, Gus, for bringing all these sets out to the studio and talking about them with us. We will hopefully have you back for more themes later. We'll see how that pans out. But thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. We'll be back with more videos like this very soon. Bye-bye.